Jimmy is going to drop some freaking incredible knowledge today. I've sat in his class already. I've been following Jimmy for a long time. And I was like, I got to get this motherfucker to Real. And then I found out he was already at Real. But his strategy is so good. And what I love about Jimmy is that his strategy is replicatable everywhere. Roland Osage, who taught last week, his strategy is replicatable everywhere. Sometimes it's hard, right? Like where you're like, I'm not good on camera. Neither one of their strategies requires you to be on camera. But here's the thing is that like Jimmy's going to teach and drop some bombs today. But at the end of the day, like if we just do a little bit of what Alex Hormozi calls mental masturbation, and we just like, it sounds good and we just think about it, but then we don't do anything with it, then at the end of the day, like our business is not going to change. So without further ado, Jimmy Conover, the Instagram master up in Idaho. Super excited for this, Jimmy. Thank you for being here. And the show is yours, my friend.
Kyle, thank you. Or best intro I've had. I felt like a superstar. Okay, so the first part of this, honestly, like I don't want to just sit up here and talk. And I guess it's not up anywhere, but I don't want to just talk. I'd rather get a feel for kind of the headspace that everyone's in, what you're trying, what you're working, what your current things that you're working through, so that I can custom tailor the information that I talk about. Because I could literally talk about a lot of different things, but I'd rather it be super valuable to everybody. So let's spend the first 5 minutes or so. If people can go in the chat, I'll read the answers, or you can just come on and talk. I want to hear, how is most people, when it comes to let's start with, when it comes to Instagram, because that's what I mainly focus on, that's 100% of my focus. How many people are using Instagram to successfully get leads every single month? You can raise your hand, I guess. We'll start with that. Okay, perfect. And if you're not getting leads, what are some of the biggest struggles? You can actually drop it in the chat. We'll just do that. What are some of the biggest hurdles, the biggest things that you feel like you're struggling with getting leads from Instagram? I'll put up some examples. Is it consistency? Is it a strategy? Is it not getting enough reach? I am getting enough reach, but I'm not able to start any conversations. Things like that. All right, so we have consistency, content ideas, right? I didn't say that one. Not enough reach, no strategy. How do you grow an audience with your target audience? Editing, consistency, reach, consistency. Okay, cool. Just starting. Awesome. Okay, so when it comes to generating leads, is mostly everybody kind of doing the offline activities then? I guess that's kind of a hard question to ask. Okay. How many people are focused on a lot of different platforms? YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I got a Facebook group. I try to hit my sphere of it. I got a lot of different things I'm focused on. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. YouTube only. Okay, and how many of you, by the raise of hands, actually drop in the chat a yes or a no or a Y or N. Have you seen me on Instagram before? Kelly, what's up? Thanks. Matt, I see you. No. Perfect. Truth, thank you. Awesome. No one knows me. That's perfect. All right, let's jump right in. All right, to give you a little background of why I even can talk about anything. So my name is Jimmy Conover. I am a brand new real estate agent out of Boise, Idaho. I've been an agent for 6 months, and in that 6 months, I've gained over 17,000 followers on my Instagram account. Have put, I think, almost 900 people on an email list, and I have 4.7 million under contract. Well, five transactions have closed. 2 more are still pending with later close dates for $4.7 million. And that's as a brand new real estate agent that knows nothing about real estate. So a little bit about my background is I actually have a content background. 4 years ago, I moved from Arizona to Boise, Idaho. And back then I was vlogging, I was creating content. I was more of a family vlogger, if you will. I had a YouTube channel where I would talk about, okay, hold on, I gotta press the button. So I basically vlogged that experience of us relocating. And when people were commenting for months on end after that, being like, how is Star? How's Boise? I realized that there was something here that I wasn't capitalizing on. Us as real estate agents, I truly believe, have the best personal brand opportunity on the internet. because so many people struggle with getting a huge brand, building a huge audience, but they have no way of monetizing it. Not many people can build an audience, build a brand, and then get a $10,000, $30,000, $50,000 paycheck just from talking about you, your lifestyle, and your business. And that's why I love Instagram so much. You know, I told you that I have a YouTube background. I have a YouTube account that I've posted, I'm not even gonna show it, that I've posted to for years on end. I don't post to it anymore. I only focus on Instagram mainly because of the speed and lack of time. I actually can get leads faster from Instagram. The capability of creating conversations on Instagram is far greater than I can on YouTube. Sure, we can have conversations, but we can't actually, it's not as easy to have a conversation. Here's one more reason that I focus on YouTube. So there's a book called, and I'm blanking, whatever, it doesn't matter. Regardless, what we know about the market is that 3% is ready to buy now and 17% needs more information. And this is in any industry, any market, I don't care what you talk about. 20% is not happy with where they live and 60% has no intention of moving right now. Now, most people, whether it's, I have another slide here. So most people, whether it's on YouTube or Google or Facebook or Sphere of Influence or whatever it is, all that focuses on that top 3% ready to buy now. All the ads that you see on social media is trying to get that 3% ready to buy now, but that's what everybody's going after. And what my strategy, or it's not even my strategy, what I do on Instagram really tackles everybody. The people that have no intention of moving, I want them as my followers. Like I said, I've only been an agent for 6 months. There's literally no reason that people should reach out to me with messages like this. I saw your post about River Park Estates. My husband is a firefighter in Arizona, blah, 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 blah. We do not have a realty yet, a real estate agent yet. There's literally no reason I should be getting messages like this besides the fact that I, number one, made a connection with my messaging and what I was saying, and I had a following. The following creates this, the social proof that I needed as fast as possible because I didn't have Google reviews. I didn't have a website. I barely have a business name. I moved to the area. I have no family. I have no sphere of influence. I'm part of Real. I don't have a brick and mortar. Nobody's sending me leads. And YouTube takes too long. So I went with Instagram and it's worked out. So let's go into how I've been able to do this. So in this presentation, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do to get leads right now on Instagram. Because it's not about just posting and praying. It's not about getting inbound DMs. As much as I love getting inbound DMs, which I get plenty of them, there's a whole lot of other ways to get inbound DMs. I'm going to look at these conversations real quick before I get going. Instagram is mostly friends and realtors. Some clients quietly watch, but not a consistent source. Cool. I have like 400 videos on YouTube. Oh man. Joe, let's go in on Instagram. 1.1 million accounts reached. Yeah, I can reach people. Oh, I forgot to mention. So in these first 136 videos, I have had over, I think it's 34 videos with over 100,000 views. My average view per video across 136 videos is somewhere in between 100 and 180,000 views a video. It's completely insane. Like nobody's more blown away by these numbers than me. Not all my videos get large amounts of reach, but because I've had like 10 videos over 1 million and then another 20 or 25 videos over 100,000, that's what really pulls up those numbers really high. And what
did you say your average was?
It's somewhere in between 100 and 180,000 views a video.
That's insane.
But like I said, you can see not every video gets it, but that's the beauty of an average. Yeah. I know, let's just put it this way. I know what I need to say when I want a lot of reach, but we'll get into that a little bit. Okay, so here's exactly what I know I need to do for the end of time if I want to keep getting leads from Instagram. This presentation was developed because I have a coaching program where it's a one-on-one coaching program where I come together with agents and I basically just help them troubleshoot any problems they have. They go through the program, I teach them exactly what I'm doing to reach all these people and get the leads, but then we just each and every week, it's like, what's going on? Like, what problems are you facing? And so based on all those problems that everyone's facing, I basically broke it down to like, guys, these are the solutions. Like we go back to the frameworks. And so these are the frameworks that we all need to be doing each and every week, each and every month, each and every day, if you want to get leads from Instagram. Another place that this actually came from is that my my son is in a brand new school, and he came home saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and then they have a school pledge, and the school pledge is like, like I pledge to do the right thing, and life's not always easy, but I'll do my best. And it's really cool to hear this, little 4-year-old say this pledge. So I basically realized as I was creating this that it was a pledge. So I wrote a pledge for you. I will create content consistently that focuses on my ideal clients' pain points and dream outcomes, and use my own story and experiences to create a connection with my viewers. I will focus on average watch time and the first 3 seconds of the video, only using proven prompts, mindful text fonts, and great visual hooks. I will strive to make my messaging better by understanding what is making my clients consider moving away from where they're moving, aka pain points, and what is making them consider moving to where I live, aka dream outcome. However, creating content is just the heartbeat of getting leads and makes all conversations easier, but it is not the end all. I understand that in order to get more leads, I will do active daily and weekly activities that gives me opportunities to create conversations and follow up and reach out to my leads. My social media account and content is for my ideal client, and I will only create content that they connect with and find value in. I know that by staying focused and disciplined, avoiding comparisons to others, and concentrating solely on my own efforts, I will achieve better results over time. How we can sum that up is, if I create content consistently for my ideal client that helps answer their questions, knock down their limiting beliefs, and inspires them to love life in their area, I will continue to create opportunities for conversations and follow up with everyone. I will succeed. So let's break down each one of those. So when I first became an agent, I was, in the courses, right? I was taking the prerequisite courses, and I thought, well, I'm just going to start my Instagram now because I know what I'm doing in terms of I know how to build a brand. I just need to go do it. So without being an agent, I created an account. And in the first 2 months, I built that account to 1,400 followers, posted, I think at the time, it was like 77 times, or let's call it 80 times for the sake of numbers. I posted 80 times in 2.5 months. And then I went to go connect ManyChat, which is how I basically create a lot of my conversations, and it wasn't connecting. So I hit a wall immediately, like after 2.5 months, posting a lot. And so without even thinking, I shut this account down before I was an agent. And then I actually became an agent, and that's when I started this account. So it actually hasn't been 6 months of creating content. It's been 8 months of creating content, but 2 months I wasn't even an agent yet. And I didn't want to create a conversation because the last thing I wanted was someone to reach out and ask me to help them buy a house, and I wasn't even licensed yet. So I was just focused on getting my numbers up. Regardless, when that first account failed and I started this second account, I already had 70 videos. I knew the only thing holding me back from getting to where I wanted to go was time and what I was willing to put into the system. I was already crystal clear on my messaging because that first account was basically, I was just doing a lot of testing. I wasn't even really that serious. because I didn't have my license. So I was posting 3 to 5 times a week. I was, by the second half of the first month, the second 2 weeks, I started posting twice a day because I only had gained like 150 or 200 followers in that first time frame. And so I started getting really hungry for more results. So I started posting twice a week. But at that point, I was already off to a snail's pace, so there wasn't coming back in that first month. But by the second month, I reached my first 1,000, so that was okay. However, when I went to this new one, I wasn't messing around anymore. I knew my messaging, I knew the videos that worked, I knew who my ideal client was, so I went all in, I doubled down. I posted twice a day for the first 14 days, once a day every day after that. I gained 4,000 followers in the first month, and then it just went 4,000, 7,000, 10,000, 16,000, or 14,000, then 17,000. So that's where we're at now. Okay, so that brings us back to over here. So I will create content consistently. At a bare minimum, you should be posting content every single day. And the reason isn't for algorithm or anything like that. It's because, and I'm gonna speak general here, is that you don't know what you're doing. And so in order to know what you need to do, time doesn't need to happen. Reps need to happen. So how do we get as many reps in as fast as possible? You've probably heard the story about Kobe and how he used to practice twice a day when he was, in the beginning, just because he wanted to be the best. That was kind of my take on this entire thing, was that I need to get better fast. I need to understand my client better. And I basically just need to put more reps in. And what that requires you to do is forget about anything that anybody thinks about you. Forget about anybody that thinks I'm posting too much. Forget about anybody that feels like I used the same clip twice or anything. Nothing really even matters like that. Like I use the same clips over and over. I'll post the same video every other week or, for a few weeks later. Here's the other thing, is that when you increase the volume, you get better. You're getting more leverage on your time because your skill improves. If you post every day for a while, you get pretty good at creating content quickly. But when you start to slow down and post infrequently, you just tend to not get better. It's kind of like going to the gym. Say you're starting to go to the gym and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go 2 days a week. Nothing's gonna happen with 2 days a week. You gotta do enough to turn that corner because you never do enough to turn that corner and get enough reps in. It's the same exact thing. So even for me, if I don't post for a few days, let's say Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I don't post, I gotta knock the rust off. I gotta get back in the swing of things. I gotta think back to my ideal client. And when you're in a flow state with Instagram and content and prompts and knowing your ideal client, you can just steamroll everybody. But if you're kind of getting burnt out because you don't have systems, you don't know what you're doing, there's no strategy involved, then it just doesn't work like that. So when you're posting more frequently, you have faster feedback loops. So when you're posting a lot and you're focused on having a lot of conversations and you're asking them what is making them consider moving and what are they looking for in their next home, and then you keep posting a lot and then you keep having more conversations and you keep using their words in your prompts and therefore you're getting fast feedback loops, that's how you're reaching big numbers. I don't create my own prompts for the most part. This is a prompt. If you don't know what a prompt is just text on the screen. All this text on the screen comes from either a proven prompt that I rework for my ideal client and my area. So there's a little thing, never post a video that doesn't have your local area on it. And then all the conversations that I have with people, even if I've even had a conversation when they're like, oh, hey, no, I actually already have an agent. I'm like, that's awesome. Where are you considering moving from? I follow the script. I have a script that I just follow because in the end, my messaging is way more important to me than getting a client. Because if I can nail my messaging, I will get 10 of those people rather than just that one person. So I'm ruthless when it comes to nailing in the words that I use. I want them to be as close and as representative of the words they use in their thoughts and in their mind. So next was that focuses on my ideal client's pain points and dream outcomes. So my content, I literally say the same thing over and over and over in my content. I talk about the pain points of why they left, why they're moving. So for me, my ideal client is a family in Arizona that is tired of excessive heat warnings and just wants to have a normal summer. They want 4 seasons. They want to give their family a better quality of life. They want to be more in the outdoors. So that is literally all my messaging is from is pain points and dream outcomes. You can call this current situation, desired situation. We don't sell houses. Houses are just the bridge to get someone from the place of pain that they're currently in to the place of the dream outcome that they want. They could care less about the house if it doesn't bring them the lifestyle that they want. So I think I haven't even posted many houses, honestly. It's all about my story and making a connection. Here's the thing, is that people are thirsty for connection on Instagram these days. They don't need a masterclass on everything. I would highly recommend not educating your audience on anything to do with real estate. They don't need to be educated on real estate. They need to make a connection with you as the client. In my local area, most people would say that it's completely saturated with agents. Yet somehow, a lot of people know who I am. A lot of real estate agents know who I am. They share my content to their stories. So I don't focus on anybody else besides the fact that I focus on the one ideal client that I know I can serve. And we use our own story and experiences to create a connection with our viewers. So these are some DMs that I've received from people. Your posts are all speaking to me. My wife keeps sending me your reels. She wants to move. Hey, my wife is constantly sending me your reels. So I focus on lifestyle, the lifestyle of the area. When someone starts looking into moving to an area, and obviously everything that I speak from is from a relocation basis, but they start looking into the lifestyle of where they want to move. And then they start looking into the areas, and then they start looking into the houses, which is why I rarely ever even show houses, because that's bottom of funnel. That's the 3% that are ready to move now. But what about the other 60% that are just not even interested yet? They just kind of want to be entertained a little bit. With a focus on average watch time. So the biggest metric on Instagram is watch time. So anytime, I'm sure there's a lot of people in this call, I hear it all the time, well, the algorithm this and the algorithm suppressing this, and I can't figure out the algorithm. The algorithm is nothing but an analyzation software that analyzes the people that watch your videos, how they engage, how much they watch, and what they do with the video. Do they share it? Do they skip it? Whatever it is. The algorithm is just a bot. Let's not even care about the algorithm. What we should care about is our ideal client and whether they're watching or not. So we need to focus on average watch time, which is why I highly recommend in the beginning, especially everybody that comes into my program, the first thing I tell them is like, I want you to focus on 3 to 7 second videos with a proven prompt that focuses on your ideal client's pain points and dream outcomes. Because let's remove all the things about editing and anything like that and just focus on the words that you use and the visual clip that you're picking. And then of course the text font and the prompt too. But the more we can get focused, the better results we're gonna have. So creating shorter videos with value-packed captions. So when people read our caption, the video loops, and now Instagram sees it as a good video and will increase our chances of reaching more people. I'm just gonna look through the comments real quick. Yep, Kelly says, instead of welcome to 123 Banana Street, welcome them to their day and what their life will look like in your city. Kyle can confirm. All right, what's the average length of your videos? You know, the average length of my video, okay, so here's how it works. It's basically like, if it's one clip, so if you were to look at all my videos, they're all like kind of have a similar structure. This video I just posted today, it's one clip with a prompt. If it's one clip, so here's a rule of thumb. As Hermosi would say, this is your writer downer. If your video should never be as long as it takes to read the prompt. And if I finish reading the prompt, I'm ready to swipe. So something better change. We're either going to a new clip or the video's over. And so when I edit my video, I'll literally go like, if I wanted a community to read my best friend, boys, and then this is definitely the neighborhood I would seriously consider. And then I would end the video right there. And that's how I do it. And so it's like, it's either a one clipper that's 4 to 7 seconds, or it's some sort of highlight. So you can see like this. So this is more of a highlight. I called it a tour of our town, tour of the town. And this one's longer, right? So this, I'm never gonna make a video, if it's talking, all right, let me back up. If it's a talking video, it's gonna be 30 seconds to a minute. If it's just a one clip video, it's 4 to 7 seconds. If it's more of a montage, no, I am not doing voiceovers. If it's more of a montage, then it's gonna be anywhere from 15 to 20 to 30 seconds. But I am ruthless with my, I am bringing out the chopper, remove all the videos. So there's a term in video production that we say kill your darlings or something like that. It's more like, don't fall in love with your clips. Go back to your ideal client and think about what is it that they care about. I love showing my videos to my wife because she'll be like, that seems really long. And it'll be like 20 seconds long. And I'll be like, you're right. I fell in love with the clips and the imagery and the song, and I wanted the beat to drop. And then I'm like, you're right. I need to just remove everything and go back to 10 seconds. Something like that. There, Kyle just put it in the chat. All right, let's keep going. Is this helping? Is this valuable? If this is valuable, let me know by putting a 1 in the chat. How about that? Cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, can you talk quick, just verbiage here so that everyone's using also the same lexicon, as it were, the same jargon. So you're talking about, you said the time it takes to read the prompt. The prompt is not the caption.
No.
Right? What's the prompt? What's the difference between a visual prompt and a textual, not sexual, textual prompt? And how are you more focused on on those ones that is a single visual prompt? So it's a 4 to 7 second, you've got the text there. Are you more focused on what the actual video is, or is the prompt, the text, what's engaging? Or is it sometimes one or the other?
Say it again.
So, okay, so this video, we've got a solo video, we've got a prompt. So first off, it's kind of a couple questions. So the difference between the prompt and the caption.
Yeah.
Because there's a big difference there. And then are you more focused on those short videos that are 4 to 7 seconds long? Is it the video that's catching people, or is it the text prompt that's on the screen, or is it sometimes one or the other?
It's going to be, so there's really only like, let's put it this way. If you're not getting enough views, it's like one of three things, if I remember correctly. So it's either going to be your text prompt, you didn't grab their attention, your visual hook, you didn't grab their attention, or it's, and I'm going to add in a bonus fourth one to it, or your first, like when people are scrolling on their phones, they see like 5 words, right, of your caption. Those are 3 opportunities that you have to grab someone's attention. So that's why in a lot of my captions, you'll see an open-ended hook. So everything that I do, I want it to be open-ended. I never want to have a closed loop where someone feels like, oh, I get it, I'm moving on. Like I want it to be open-ended. So let's look at an example. No, let's find a better example. All right, the internet was wrong. That's an open-ended thing. That makes you want to keep reading. Other ones that I just rely on the most is here's what you need to know. Here's the breakdown. Here's is a really good word for just keeping it open-ended. So it goes back to, yes, I want my visual hook to be on point. I want it, so all my videos, here's another little thing for you. All my videos I run through, so I use iPhone and obviously a drone, but I auto enhance it and I crank up the vibrance, never further than 50%, but I want these colors to pop as hard as I can. Without making them look not real. So for the visual hook, that's what I do. The text hook, let's go into one thing really quickly. I only use like 3 or 4 text fonts. If you were to scroll through my account, you'll literally see I rely heavily on, this is literature with a white background. I love using literature with no background, no stroke. And then this is, I never remember the name. The other one, poetry. Poster, that's what it was. I love poster. I love combining thick and thin fonts. You can see I do it all the time, but it's really either going to be poster and literature with no stroke. It's going to be literature with the white background. I will not do literature with a stroke because it makes it very difficult to see. Or classic, this is classic with a stroke. I love classic. It's just plain, simple, very easy to read in these scenarios where I got bright highlights, aka where the sun's coming in, and then dark shadows with the sun and the branches. So we just want it to easy to read for the most part. And that's really the only text fonts I use.
Since the first time I heard you say like you cared so much about fonts, I was like just staring and like looking at mine and looking at yours and be like, what is the font that he's using? And it really does. It pops and it looks really, really good. And it's like very easy on the eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, here's one more thing. Don't make them too big. Like this one's probably pushing it a little big, but you'll see a lot of influencers or creators out there. You basically can't even read the text, but I don't know if it's a thing or what, but I don't really go with the super small text, but I see a lot of other agents do it and it works for them. So something to consider. It's like when you use literature and you just scrunch it down really small and you can barely read it and you're editing it and you're like, this is ridiculous. I can't even read this. It'll work. I don't know why. It'll work. Anyways, let's keep going. So the first 3 seconds of the video, so this is what we were talking about. Using proven prompts, mindful text fonts, and great visual hooks. I want to go into proven prompts a little bit more later, but proven prompts means that you are finding reels that already have lots of views. They're already proven to work. There are people out there that are way smarter than we are when it comes to writing prompts, or they just got really lucky. And we want to find what those prompts are because it's all based on psychology. All our prompts are really the same. It's just like, are you this ideal client with this pain point and you want this dream outcome? Then you should definitely check out this community. It all becomes the same stuff over and over and over. And I can tell when my students they're like, well, why didn't this get views? And I'm like, did you make that prompt? And you're like, yeah. Well, it's like, well, why? Why not just go find a proven prompt and change it into your own? POV, you decide to visit the most underrated country in Europe. Okay. And then we have a montage with, Montenegro or whatever that said. Like, why wouldn't I just take that as a framework? Like, it's all about frameworks. Find the framework in the prompt. Find the framework in the video, the vibe that they're using, and try to match it. I mean, I have so many examples of where I've literally just taken someone's framework and I applied it to my own, which I've done breakdowns before in the past. I applied it to my own and just crushed so hard with it because I didn't guess. I was putting my bet that someone else knew what they were doing, and I'm just gonna go with that. Let me show you one quick example. if I can find it in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Oh no, I can't find it. We're gonna have to move on. That's okay. We'll do this one. This one works. Okay. 10 spots in Mexico City that left me speechless. When I look at a prompt, I look at it as a framework and I see like little Lego blocks. Like what makes up this prompt to make it really great? So what I saw was that left me speechless. I love that angle. I talk about angles all the time. It's much different than being like, 10 spots in Mexico City you should check out. Like that's just vanilla. We don't want to be vanilla. We want to make this a little bit more creative. So that left me speechless. And then he goes into a little montage about these cool architectural. He's a very architectural guy. If you don't follow Don Borsch, he's a very creative guy. Anyways, he goes into that. So I took that and made something more my style, but still the same premise. And it did well for me. It took a while for it to start rolling, but once it got rolling, it did okay. 217,000 views, 4,300 likes. So 10 places near Boise, Idaho that left me speechless. Literally the exact same thing, but you know, it looks a little bit different. And then I just roll through what those 10 places are very quickly. So much so that you probably can't even read it. Even had people complaining that I can't even read that. Well, you know what? Pause the video. I don't care. Anyways, it did pretty well for me. That's what I mean by using proven prompts and then replicating it to yourself. You know what I don't mean though? Using what all the other agents are doing and copying it. So I don't want to get into that too much. That's a whole topic on its own. All right, I will strive to make my messaging better by understanding what is making my clients consider moving away from where they're moving, aka pain points, and what is making them consider moving to where I live, aka dream outcome. We want someone to feel like, wow, this person just gets me. Like they just understand. Yes, stroke is outlined, by the way. They just understand like exactly what's going on. So check out this message I got. This post popped up and spoke to my soul. This was an inbound DM. We live in Mesa, in Arizona, and all the reasons you listed is why we have a 2-year plan to move. Idaho is on our list. I'd love to know more about your move as we have 3 kiddos and want to ensure it's as smooth as possible. This person literally just wants to know what my experience was. They feel like they can get so much value from me just talking and telling about my experience. You know, we hear so much on social media these days that you have to provide value. You have to provide value. Where you know where my value is helping provide clarity to my ideal client that moving to my area is a good idea. Because moving is a huge deal. And if they don't have a big enough reason, if they don't have enough clarity, they're not gonna do it. And so my goal is to help them, just to reassure them that where I live, it's a good place for families. We did the same thing you did. We have a connection with that. And that it's just a good idea. And I'm here to console with you, essentially. So a part of the pledge that isn't in here is that I understand that creating content is just the heartbeat, but is not the end all. I understand that in order to get more leads, I will do active daily and weekly activities that gives me opportunities to create conversations. So this is what I focus on so much inside of my program, which is like, yes, we need to create content. Yes, we need to content ideas. Yes, we need to be consistent, but that's not going to get us where we want to go to, because then there's still the whole messaging part, which probably takes way too long for most people to figure out anyways, and to have the conversations. So we need to have ways that we can actually create conversations. So when you create a connection piece of content talking about your story, offer up your relocation guide. So this is a lead magnet. When you create content about a community or listing, offer up the listing or the listings if you're talking about a community. And then when you create content about, go ahead. Someone have something to say? No? Okay. When you create content about a community or a listing, take the clips, split them up into 3 to 5 stories, telling people about the community or listing, and have a story poll. Here's my story poll right there. But that's not good enough, because this is a dead end. Just because someone asked for your relocation guide and ManyChat sent it, and just because someone asked for the listing and ManyChat sent it, and just because you posted in your story and someone answered, that doesn't mean they're a lead. Okay. We need to follow up and reach out to our leads. We need to figure out and determine whether we can help them. Where are they at in their buying process? How motivated are they? Because in the end, we know that it takes an average of 20 conversations to create a lead. So I'm focused on how do I create as many conversations as possible. My social media account and content is for my ideal client, and I will only create content that they connect with and find value in. So I learned a long time ago that it's not about me. Thankfully, I've been able to find a way to make it about me, yet still have my ideal clients see themselves in my content. But everything that we post needs to be focused and have an angle that they care about. Like this is an example. We bought a condo about a month or two ago, and most people would be like, "Oh, we just bought a condo, and it was great going there," or something like that. They weren't able to turn it to their ideal client, and so I think ruthlessly of like, well, how do I turn this highlight of my life that I still want to be able to reference in the future with my kids, but now make it that so that someone else cares about it too, or can see themselves in it. So this was a prompt I came up with, which was 4 years ago, we started vacationing to McCall after moving to Boise. And today we invested in our family and memories and bought a cabin. So the words that I use make other people see themselves in this video. And I know that by staying focused and disciplined, avoiding comparisons to others, and concentrating solely on my own efforts, I'll achieve better results over time. So at this point, it's like 15 months ago, July 2023, on this marketing account that I originally had, I had 385 followers. Even in January of this year, I think I only had like 400 or 500. I had no direction. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea. I was running a video production company that was a local video production company. Even though I had grown another Instagram account that was a different brand to 16,000 followers, and I had a YouTube channel that had over 5,000 subscribers, all on different stuff, I still felt literally lost. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. And I was barely making any money. I was wasting my time at BNI. Who can relate? And I didn't understand social media, even though I had 16,000 followers on another account. I was frustrated and I had no patience. So fast forward to today, in September 2024, I grew that account to over 21,000 followers. I became a real estate agent. I gained out obviously 17,000 followers at this point, but all the success that I've had on this real estate account came from what I realized and what I learned, what I started testing out. The biggest success that I had was because I started testing out a bunch of different things. I got out of my own way. And what I mean by that was that I saw the world through my own specific filter. I thought that when I created content, I had to be in a studio with lights, with my microphone. I had to be talking on camera. I was not willing to see life any other way. What the biggest change was I started thinking about my ideal client. I started to focus on my ideal client and tried to use the words they were using, aka messaging. I made shorter content that conveyed my message quicker. I tried to solve their immediate problems, and I focused on creating content consistently. I started posting all the time and finding the most effective ways to communicate my message. I started doing skits, text on the screen. I held nothing back. I basically just threw away my old vision of what content was supposed to be, and I went to a new vision of anything's fair game, and I don't know what's good until my audience shows that it's good with the views, the reach, the comments, whatever it may be. So my success has always come from focusing more on my ideal client and getting closer on my messaging. So one last thing before we wrap up. So at this point in my business, in my real estate business, I'm only 6 months in, yet I feel like I know exactly what I need to do to build a thriving real estate business. And it's because I've already done it. But here's basically my pledge. If I create content consistently about exploring the Idaho outdoors with my family that reaches my local audience, why I moved from Arizona to Idaho, that creates a connection with my ideal client, and I talk about communities and houses that people love so that people actually know I'm in real estate, and I use ManyChat, and I keep offering people my relocation guide when I talk about moving to Idaho or communities or houses, and asking people to comment if they want the listings of a community when I create videos about listings or communities. And then, I don't stop there, I then follow up and reach out to everyone that ManyChat sent a link to, and then I post that community to my stories like I explained. I will continue to create endless opportunities for leads through inbound DMs because my messaging is on point with my connection content, my story polls because my lead up stories provide value on benefits, which we didn't get into, and following up and reaching out to everyone that downloaded my guide, offering extra help in the buying process. As long as I live the life of my ideal client, I document it and I show it through short, engaging videos that create emotion and makes people feel something. And I don't give up. I don't get anxious for fast results, and I don't get bored doing the same thing over and over, which does tend to happen. I know I will succeed. Now that's what we need to do. That's what everyone needs to do. That is my goal for everyone that comes in the program. It's just like, we need to get to this point where we know exactly what we need to do to get leads. But the problem is that when people come into the program, they don't know their ideal customer. They don't know their messaging. They have a hard time staying consistent every week. They don't know what to make videos about. They don't know how to film. They don't know how to edit an Instagram or CapCut. They don't know what text fonts to use, and they don't know how to write a caption. And that's why it goes back to just being consistent and constantly working and focusing on these things. And I promise you that if you focus on all these things over time, you will have success. If you reached out to every single person that liked your content, every single new follower, anybody that watched your stories, you're going to create leads. Getting people to raise their hand on Instagram is not hard. It's not hard at all. It's everything that comes after that. That's the hard part. And that's all I got, I think.
So we got a little question in the chat from Rick Gonzalez. He says that SOP is gold with an exclamation point. He said, why did you start a new account? You mentioned the back end stuff.
Yeah.
Video, when is starting a new account? When is it starting a new one beneficial?
Sure. So this is one of the most common things that I hear people is that they'll say, should I start a new account? Should I start a new account? And I don't know if it's because they see that I started a new account. You should only start new accounts when your ideal client from whatever account you have is different. The account that I had before this one was a parent-based account, so it had 16,000 followers of just parents wanting to be parents. Then I became the marketing account, so those were real estate agents. But none of those ideal clients are buyers looking to move to Idaho. So that's why I created a brand new account the first time. The second time I created a brand new account because I couldn't connect ManyChat. When you go to connect ManyChat to your Instagram account, it'll say you need to have a Facebook business account connected to your Instagram. And there was a problem. I don't know what it was. The Facebook and Meta, they couldn't really tell me what the problem was, and they told me I was stuck. And because I needed ManyChat, I just started a brand new one. I did not think. I highly recommend that nobody creates a brand new account if you don't have to, because the first 300 followers are the hardest. And I would assume that one of the only reasons that you want to create a new account is because it's like the only solution that we feel like is available to us. Like, I'm not getting enough reach. I'm not getting any leads. I'm not getting enough views. So I bet if I create a new account, then I will get those things. But that's not the reason. You're gonna have a better success by focusing more on your ideal client, your messaging, getting more consistent, posting 3 to 7 second videos, getting people to watch your entire video, actually providing real value in your caption, than creating a new account.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
As far as, and I'm not that experienced with social media, but as far as like tags, hashtags, any other things as far as the description of the videos, so that it does show up to our ideal clients, what do we, how much focus should that be on that, and how is it best done?
John, is that you talking?
That's me.
All right, cool. Tags don't matter. The only reason I even add tags to some of my videos was because I looked up my city and state and I saw this agent that doesn't even produce anymore, isn't even in production anymore. And so that's when I realized, because I used to be all anti-tags, like you don't need tags at all. But once I saw that if you search Star Idaho in the search bar, this other agent's content comes up. That's when I realized that I need to at least tag my local area in the ones that I want to tag, that I want to show up. And when you think about the person that's coming into the content, it's more like, okay, so they're searching for the area because they're interested in it. Once, if my content's good enough, they're now on my page. So I don't need every video to be tagged. I just need the good ones that represent my area and talk about my area to be in it so that they find it and then dive more into my account. They go to my account, they read the description, they like it, they see I provide value or whatever it is, and they follow.
Okay, so very sparse on the tagging, and would you, like, in your about me area, like, have more things that would focus on that so people end up finding it instead?
What problem are we trying to solve?
Just making sure that our videos show up to the people that we actually want it to show up to instead of everyone.
I make sure that my videos show up to the people I want them to by focusing on my hook. So when we say that you should be focused on the first 3 seconds of your video, your proven prompt, things like that, it's gonna be your local area.
Got it.
So
okay.
You won't see one video, well, you might see one. You won't see more than one video that doesn't have my local area in the first clip. So I either say Boise, Star, Idaho, 30 minutes from Boise. I play around with a bunch of different wording depending on how many people I want to reach. I live in a town of 15,000 people. So I know that if I say Star, Idaho, I'm going to reach not that many people. But if I say 30 minutes from Boise, I'm going to reach more people because that's more of a hot keyword.
Got it. Okay.
But for the record, how big is Boise, Jimmy?
The whole area probably has 1 million, maybe 700,000.
So I think this is like sometimes like people's excuse for not doing stuff is they're like, oh, well, I don't live in San Francisco. It's easy for you to get 1 million views because you're in San Francisco and there's just more people, but you're in Star, Idaho and getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views, and then converting them into leads. So that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to have you in here, is because either a lot of people might be like living in smaller towns because they're near military bases, or they PCS somewhere and they ended up staying in like smaller towns. Not everyone is near some like a Nashville or a Las Vegas, but it's still like super applicable to, I think, every area. And ultimately it's like, it's gonna find the people that are coming to your local area or find out that they're moving there because they're gonna search it.
Does anyone want to come on and we can dive into your account?
Oh yeah, I'd love that.
Oh, is that Joe?
Yeah, Joe the Modern Day Agent.
The Modern Day
On
Agent.
Instagram.
All right, let's check it out.
I sort of cheated my way into more views recently because I've been collaborating with an agent on my team who's got like 10,000 plus followers. But on like my own stuff, I'm really not getting that much.
Cool. All right, let's start at the top.
Wow, this man types quick.
Your profile picture is way too small. We want to be big and prominent. We want to see your face. You can see with mine, there's also a lot going on here. Here's the thing is no one cares about Real besides you and all the other agents. So people don't even know what brokerage I'm a part of for the most part. They don't know anything. But what they do know is that they make it, like I'm so focused on creating connection with my ideal client, I remove everything else. Just do what we need to do in terms of to be compliant, and then everything else can just go away. So I'd highly recommend sticking to a more, like you can see, like I'm getting cut off at my chest level. I removed the background in Canva, put a little white halo around me, smiling face. You can see me, smiles create other smiles. So that's my ultimate goal. I would zoom way and maybe use this photo. Okay, so let's go with, so this is your SEO portion of your entire profile. So if someone actually looks up, like I don't even know where you are. I need to know in the first 3 seconds where you're located, like I should follow you or not. Where are you? Oh, Miami, right there, I see. Okay, so this should say Joe Brickman with this little line. I just love it. That's just what I would recommend. Miami, Florida, Realtor. I would remove your category. It's not needed. It's taking up a line, and that's it's valuable space. And then you got everything kind of like in a line. I would recommend bulleting this out. If you look at mine. So the first line is who you help, so like who and where. The second line is either your authority or how you can help, or what people can expect from your page. And then your third line is your call to action, and then my fourth line is real brokerage. So you can see here. Helping, let me just pull up the chat real quick so I'm not missing anything. So helping you find, what's up? So helping,
I'm updating to Joe Brickman, Miami Realtor.
okay. So helping you find home in Star, Idaho, that's like how I can help. And obviously we're very limited based on legality reasons on getting crystal clear on who we can help, but I'm not even gonna get into that. So the next one is authority. I don't have authority. And so I just want someone to know what they can expect from coming to my page, which is showing you what makes Idaho special. It could be any variation of that. And then you can see guide to Boise's most popular suburbs. So that's my call to action. When someone clicks on my link, there's literally only one action they can take, and there's only one place that it goes to. Let's check yours out. So you got multiple links. So in marketing, there's a phrase that says a confused mind doesn't buy. It's the entire reason why when you go to a restaurant these days, there's like 5 options. So we don't even want options at all. So your Facebook profile, what do I need on your Facebook profile? Like I'm already on your Instagram. Why do I need to go to your Facebook? This is just,
So I'm disconnecting the page page.
Yeah, it's just adding in friction. And so let's go here. It says link me, and this goes to, I think I heard Kyle talking about this, right? This is,
I'm an investor in Link Me, so that's why I use that.
okay. There's a lot going on here. Like I'm confused already and I don't want to take any action because there's too many places to take action. So you'll hear from a lot of marketers that we literally just want, there's just one thing. Like you've heard of Russell Brunson and funnels, I assume. The whole idea of a funnel is that I got your attention with an ad. I'm driving you to a landing page that has no buttons whatsoever. And there's only one action there's two actions you can take. Fill out my form or exit out, and that's it. But I don't want to direct you now to my YouTube. Like I want this. So Hermosi likes, I heard Kyle say Hermosi, so I might as well start referencing him. Hermosi likes to say create flow, add friction, create flow, monetize flow, then add friction. So we want to create as much flow as possible right off the get-go. So we're adding in too much friction so this is all based on my own opinion. We're adding in too much friction if we're giving them all these different options. So then get entertained by this video, and then go get entertained by this video. Okay, let's look at some of your content. So your first one here is about you. What is going on here? Okay, let's break that one down real quick. First 3 seconds are so important. Like I need to know whether this video pertains to me in a half a second or not. Like people are so fast to scroll. And that's why you need to let's just click through a few of them.
All right, so I'm replacing the link just with my real website.
St. Regis, Brookwell. Okay, fancy are you making this yourself?
No.
Okay. I would highly recommend, is this a production company of some sort? A manager of social media?
Yeah, it's our production company.
Okay. My background was a video production company helping real estate agents get leads through Instagram, which I completely failed at. Was absolutely terrible at it. And now look at me. I've come a long ways from where I used to be, and a lot of what I believe has changed. And what I mean by that is that I have a few foundational principles with my content. I want it to look as native to Instagram as possible. I want it to be as very I'm just a human as possible. I don't want it to look like it was edited off the app, which is why I don't use transitions at all. And I only use Instagram fonts. And I use hard cuts. So a hard cut is just clip next to clip, right? Clip, 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 clip. I'm not using any of the built-in transitions. The only thing that's kind of crazy, if you will, is I like to add a little sparkle to classic every now and then when I do this. But that's as crazy as I get these days. And I used to get a lot crazier with my content. So this looks very unnative to Instagram. So I would keep moving. It looks like an ad. And I don't want to be served up an ad. And nobody wants to be served up an ad. So the biggest thing, I'm already gone because I don't know if this is for my area. So at the very least, you should have a meme card. So a meme card is the text that's on the screen while you talk. So this is a meme card. So you'll see a lot of what I do is I'll actually remove the captions in the first, 3 to 5 seconds, and I'll just have the meme card up. And then after they know what it's about, it's basically a headline, the meme card will go away and the captions will just start picking up. So let me show you an example of that. Well, you can see here, let's do this. Well, forget it. I'm not going to waste any more time. You can see when someone stops on this video, they see my city and state, the benefit of what they're going to get, and the price point, because it's all based on my ideal client and what I can use to grab their attention. And so I want them to know I want them to know whether they can get value out of this video as fast as possible. And so when I watch this video, I should be able to click on this video right away and understand what I'm going to watch. And then I can determine for myself whether I want to keep watching or not. So I don't use...
The meme card, Jimmy, is the same thing as the prompt, right?
Yeah. Yep, so you'll see it more on my... it's the prompt. For this one, it makes a whole lot more sense because I do a lot of talking reels. So this one, this is what I mean. So if the meme card's up, you don't see the captions come up until later, and now the captions are up. So the meme card, it's it just helps someone, because we can read faster than we can watch. There's something, if you guys don't follow viral.video.club, you totally got to. Something that I really took to heart that he said is, as soon as you open your mouth, you just lost half your viewers. So I guess just something to consider. I love text on the screen. It's so fast. It's so easy. People love it. People want to read a caption. They honestly don't want to see our ugly mugs talking, especially in real estate. So this one has a lot going on. Like, you're trying to get their attention with Netflix, but like, we need our local area in there as fast as possible. Like, I'm waiting for something to happen. So yeah, you had a good visual hook, but I need a text hook on there. Mindset approach is the lifestyle. Who are we trying to reach? Let me listen to this real quick.
Is by creating a system that can react to any situation.
Born ready isn't about being 100%. Who's your ideal client? You still on, Joe? All right. Looks like Joe might have gotten disconnected of some sort. The main takeaways that I have from looking at his account is, I need to know what I should care about in the first 3 seconds. Let me just skip through a few of my videos. Boise. And I'm just going to say the hook word that I'm seeing. Boise. POV, you skipped Franklin, Tennessee. I'm trying to get their keyword based off everyone loves Franklin, Tennessee. Idaho, Boise, Phoenix, Boise, McCall, Boise, Idaho. You get the point. Like, I will not post a video that doesn't scream my local area in the first 5 seconds. The first clip, honestly.
Yeah, Jimmy, I think something that happens a lot, I mean, like, I'm a victim of this too, but I think what happens a lot, especially with Reel, is that I think it's 2 things. Number one, it's people know that they should be talking about their local area, but then they like don't know what to talk about because they haven't done the work of like what you've done a lot of, which is like, who am I? Who's my ideal client? That's what I'm going to talk to every time I post a video. But then all of us also want to do agent attraction. And so if I was a betting man, I think that what Joe is doing, which I was just texting him, he said his computer restarted. But what I think is happening to Joe, and I think this happens to a lot of agents, is it's like, I want to post about my stuff, but I also want to post about like kind of adding authority that I, as a realtor, know what the heck I'm talking about. Or, you know, that like people can come to me for advice. And so then it's like, maybe I'm trying to do agent attraction, but I'm also trying to get people into my market as well, like buyers and sellers, and maybe that ends up like muddying the waters. Whereas like your page is so clear that it is like, I am talking about freaking Idaho.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Let's go deeper on this real quick. How much time do we have? Do we have more time?
Yeah. I think
you can keep rolling. Yeah,
the masterclass is over. So thank you guys for coming. If you want to bounce out, you can. But Jimmy, it's totally up to how much time you're willing to give, man. So
all right, let's break in. Let's jump in. Let's get deeper. Okay, there are 3 buckets that I post content to. That is local content. I want to reach my local audience, and that's going to be based on my ideal client. I need to post content that they care about, that gets their attention. There's a new park coming to my 15,000 person town, and in this screenshot, it has 420,000 views. It's like 4 clips. That's it. There's literally this, I try to make this as simple as possible. There's 2 things that are true that are we getting these slides? There aren't slides. This is literally just one, these are my whiteboards. But sorry, no, you can't have these. But I am recording right now, so I will post this video, I think, to YouTube. We'll see. Okay. We all don't have time, and we all want to use Instagram to get leads, or at least, let's just assume that in this sense. So how do we do it? We do it with short videos and focusing on our ideal client. The more you know your ideal client, the more you live the life of your ideal client, and the more you start to get familiar with proven prompts, the faster you can just pound out videos like nobody's business that get lots of reach. So the three buckets are local. real estate because I got to talk about real estate, and connection in my story content. So connection, my story content, certain things like 3 things my wife and I were most excited about when we moved from Phoenix to Boise that most people take for granted. This video was about shade, a cool breeze, and walking barefoot in the grass. And I literally had people, so this was that video that someone reached out to me and said, I felt this in my soul. They felt it in their soul walking barefoot on the grass. That's how much I know my ideal client. Pretty funny. Let's go into ideal client real quick. Okay, so the messaging and the words you use matters so much. And if you aren't having enough conversations with your ideal client to ask them about it, then you need to be going to the places where they are having those conversations. I know Kyle mentioned that you guys could be in other places that don't have a lot of people, so that's not something I can really talk to. But I want to show you, we need to go to the places where they are having conversations. So going to YouTube and just searching in your area and finding like I'm just going to type in a big one. Finding videos that are not by pros and cons of living here by real estate agents, but more like from these travel people or people just in the area. Like don't go watch these videos. Go and watch these travel ones and then read through the comment section to understand what they're actually talking about. This is where we need to find their words that they're using. And there's many different places. So when I first getting started with this, I went to YouTube, watched as many videos as I possibly can. There's another guy named something Johnson. I'm blanking on his name. So YouTube, I'd go to Quora. And I would go to Quora and I'd go to Reddit and I'd just type in your city, state, or maybe your main city, state, or whatever it is and start looking into the words that they're using. Another thing you can do is go to Answer the Public. If you're not familiar with Answer the Public, this is where I've gotten a lot of beginnings to a lot of what I've done. So I can just type in here. You do have to create an account. I think it's free for the most part. They do have a pricing model, but I think you get 3 searches a day. We'll see. Let's find out. So Boise, Idaho. So it used to have a table. Where's the wheel? Oh, the wheel's gone. God, they changed it. Oh. Tables. List. I don't see the wheel. Maybe they removed it. Anyways, you can start to go through here to see what are some of the main keywords that people are using. There used to be a wheel that had more questions. I would have to dig into it. Anyways, there was a big wheel and it showed like what phrases that use Boise, Idaho and why phrases that use Boise, Idaho and how phrases that. Anyways, if I could find that again, that's where the money is. It might be in the paid side of it, but regardless, still a good place. So going to the places where people are having conversations. And then once you can start having your own conversations, that's where you can start to get more clear on your messaging.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I had my hand up a little bit ago because I wanted to kind of talk. You said you didn't want to speak to the framework of people in smaller areas, but one of the things you said early on in this, I think would be beneficial, is that do the thing and pay attention. So like posting the content 6-7 days a week, trying different things, trying different fonts, trying different hooks, and just test it out and treat it like a research project, because my area may respond differently than your area responds. They may want to see different content. And so I think one of the frameworks, when you were talking about framework, I think that's the key is the repetitions, right? I mean, would you say that, or what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Would it help to go into what my content process is? Oh, Kyle says the wheel showed up on his search.
Yes, 100% would help, dude.
Okay. I basically have a 3-step process. I think it's 3. I haven't written it down enough yet, so I'll figure it out as we're going through it. You hear everybody these days saying, oh, I batch my content. I film myself typing on my computer and drinking my coffee and I batch all these B-roll. That's not what I do. I hate that. What I do is that first I scroll reels. Now screw this. I'm not going to write this out. This is going to take too long. I'll do it another time. Maybe make a video about it. Okay, so I scroll reels on the reels tab and I save them as inspiration. So then I have this folder here for real estate inspiration. and I just collect a folder. So I just flip, scroll, swipe, 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 save, save, save. Everything is prompt based. So if I were to scroll through here, you can see them. When you're a let's go watch the sunset kind of person, not sure why anyone would move to Brooklyn when Hoboken offers better views and more space. The hardest part of moving to Australia is that you wish your family and friends, you get the point. I literally just save all these reels that have prompts on them. Okay, so I do that. That's step one, is scrolling for inspiration. Next is I actually go into here and I click one by one and I batch prompt instead of batch film. So I'll go into, let's show an example. Let's see one that I did do. Okay, so like this one. Imagine missing out on all the Midwest has to offer because, and then she goes into a false belief. Scroll for inspiration, batch prompt, yeah. Okay, and then I come into my notes app and in my real estate micro content, real estate short form, you can see this is where I basically will grab the reel as inspiration. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it in here and I'll actually write down the prompt. Let's see if I did it on this one. Nope, 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 nope. So I didn't do it for this one. That's okay. So then I will batch, so then I'll actually write out my prompt and I'll just do that. I'll have a bunch of prompts ready to go. So I've already done the legwork. There's a quote from I don't know, some famous president where it said, if I had 8 hours to chop wood, I'd spend the first 6 sharpening the axe. We're gonna spend less time and reach more people the more we think through what we're doing in the beginning and then creating it afterwards. All right, so step 1 was scroll for inspiration, save the inspiration. Step 2 is actually go through the inspiration and batch prompt these together. The more you know your ideal client, the better. And then after that, I just need to have the clips, right? I already have the clips. So I just need to come in here and be like, oh, where'd it go? I can just be like, okay, what about this one? POV, you stopped complaining about the Arizona heat and just moved. It came from this reel as inspiration. POV, you stopped talking and started working or starting. Oh, he messed it up anyways. So then it goes into a small little montage of his little success story. So I could do the same exact thing, but at least I already have the prompt. And so now I just need to create the video. Usually I'll do that at 8 p.m. at night after my kids go to sleep. And then I'll wake up early the next day and I'll actually write all my captions in Trello. So I come into Trello, I have a needs copy and posted. These were already posted. And I can just create a new card. Let's say moving to Idaho for whatever reason. And I can just come in here and I can write my caption. Obviously you can do this in your notes app. I just like doing it over on this side. And then this is where I can start putting in my emojis because I like to make things lists and easy to read. Things like that. Then I can copy this over. I also have Trello on my phone and I can then paste it into the video and I'll save it as a draft and then I'm good to go. So you can see that video that I just showed right here. I lost it. Dang. Oh, there it is. Imagine missing out on all the Midwest has to offer. I turned this into a 1-clip reel. It did pretty good for me. Did okay. Didn't get 100,000 views, but 40,000. Imagine missing out on this small town 30 minutes from Boise because you thought it was too far out and mostly retired people. Now you can't take my prompt and just go use it. The more that you can, let me give you a little personal, this is how I feel. So do me a favor. Who is part of a subscription model that gives you prompt ideas? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay, we got some people. The script models are great. However, the more you just take what they've said and put it straight into your video, the less it's going to work and the more you're going to look like everybody else. The more you can take that as a framework and apply it to your ideal customer, their pain points, calling them out, and really just understanding them better, the better this entire process, the better the prompt will work for you. So as an example, like you can't just take my prompt and say, because you thought it was too far out and mostly retired people, you would have to really think, and this goes back to the words they use. What are the exact words they would use that you can get their attention with? And that's basically it for that. Some of them are easier than others. Like here's an example. This is obviously real estate. So we could just take this and literally just replace the state. Communities I wish I knew about before moving to Arizona. But how do we give this a little bit more teeth? How, like, communities I wish I knew about before, like, who are you? Like, who is this person? Like, we don't even know who this person is. We don't know how it relates. We can't even see ourselves in the content right away. So how do we apply this? What about like communities my wife wishes she knew about? That changes the mental game, real quick. Communities my kids would, hold on, I'm just gonna pull something up real quick because I already did this with last week's email. Oh, it was the one before it. I'm wasting your time. One more. Here it is. Okay. So here were other ideas I came up with. Communities I wish, okay, obviously that was the framework. Communities I wish I would have taken more seriously before moving to blank. So always remember, I do want to talk about that a little bit. So this is, communities I taken more seriously. So loss aversion. Anytime you can play in loss aversion, people hate missing out on something. Obviously, that's what that one plays with, but we can play into it more. Communities I wish I spent more time researching. Communities my kids would have loved living near. And communities my wife, that's one I already said. I want to talk about one more thing real quick. Promise of a payoff. So now we talked about watch time is super important. So the promise of a payoff is when we promise that something's going to happen and then the person sticks around for longer than 2 seconds to see what's going to happen. So this video got 1 million views in 48 hours. And the reason is because it's a story, but also because it has a promise of a payoff. So let's read it real quick. My wife told me she wanted to leave Arizona for good to raise our family in Idaho where ... That's a promise of a payoff. You know something's going to happen. So I try to have a promise of a payoff as often as I can in my content, like this one. Okay, so my kid peering around the corner of a tree is a promise of a payoff. We know that something's going to happen. Also, you went to Harrison Boulevard in Boise to see the Halloween decorations, and now you're having clown nightmares. So that's a promise that something is going to happen soon. So the more you can introduce and get more familiar with a promise of a payoff, the more success you will have at getting people to continue watching.
Hey, Jimmy, when you're doing those, you've got like, can you go back to, I think it was in your Trello where you have the inspiration. I love how, by the way, you also keep track of the video that the inspiration came from. It was where you were like, writing out like 3 or 4 or 5 similar prompts, like in trying to just.
Oh, this?
Yeah, this thing. So, okay. So, just out of curiosity, do you then like, you kind of just brainstorm and then you pick one and you run with it? Or when you were starting out, did you like, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try all 4 of them or like 3 of the best ones and just see which one lands? How did you kind of go about that? Or are you just like, I'm just going to pick the best one and go?
My favorite thing about posting twice a day is, I used to post in the morning and post in the evening. And what happens when you post twice a day is that when you post and then you check the notifications and you keep refreshing, how many views did it get, and you keep doing that until you are ready to now focus on the next video. So when you're posting twice a day, posting at 8 a.m. and then posting at 8 p.m., you only check the notifications till like noon. And now you need to start focusing on the next reel. So
100%.
When you're like, well, no, it's like get them out as fast as possible and we'll analyze it down the road. So it's not even.
I guess I'm asking though, do you just like, you did that kind of brainstorm, you had 3 or 4 that were similar to the inspiration, and then you just pick one, or are you like running 2 of the same one off of the same inspiration, but using a different prompt?
So that was my weekly email for my students, for my
Okay,
agents.
gotcha.
So I give them saying, here's the inspiration, here's the original prompt, and then here's a bunch of ideas because everyone is stuck in their own head in some place, just like you're saying. Well, I didn't relocate here. Well, I grew up here. Well, I'm in a small town. Well, I'm in a big town. Well, I don't have a family. I do have a family. I don't have enough time. I host, you know.
Love that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If a lot of these processes look like it assumes a lot of inherent knowledge with Instagram.
Sure.
For someone who, let's say, I'll use myself as an example. I don't use Instagram, never really did.
Perfect.
Do you think that it's still important to churn out the content, or is there a certain learning curve where one should focus on how to make reels, how to do these captions, things like that, of that nature? The basics, I would say.
Can you,
Or, like you said, just important to get it out.
can you drive down a street, film it out your window, and then write this simple caption in classic in white and put a black stroke on the back that says you just landed in town and are driving? Like, what I'm ultimately trying to say is that you don't need any of that. And the more that you focus on thinking like I do need those things, there's too many variables involved. But there are plenty of agents out there, especially in my local area, that have found a ton of success with 3 to 7 second reels, simple text fonts, and just knowing why someone's moving to their area. Slower pace of life, whatever it is. Like, what is it that you're going to represent?
Right on.
Well, you know what? Let's dive into something real quick, if you guys don't mind. So, a lot of this whole thing about ideal client is really about what is your brand? What do you want to be known for? I mean, there's so many different ways to structure it. So let me show you this agent that I've recently found that I love what he's doing. So if you know this guy, awesome. I just recently found him. Locator Pros. Okay, he's literally been creating the same content for like 2 years. All the same, he uses literature. He shows houses. His ideal client, if you were to look at his messaging, is... Let's find an example. Just showing you around a townhome that costs less than your monthly apartment rent. So his ideal client is someone that lives in an apartment. So let's click on this guy. You saved up $8,500. Okay, but that's not an apartment. Let's find another one. First time home buyers is what Matt said, I believe. Okay, so you can see that a lot of his prompts, $1,125 a month. So his whole thing is about people that live in an apartment and they're not looking to buy a house, but they're looking for a new place. Maybe it has more space or something like that. Same thing with this one. I'm pretty sure. Here's another one. Okay, here you go. You just secured a townhome with the same rent as an apartment and secured 6 weeks free. So we know, we could probably say, like looking at all his content, this is the apartment guy. Hey, if you live in an apartment and you're thinking about moving out of it, dude, you totally got to hit up Hunter Pros because he's the Locator Pros. He helps people in your situation. That's his brand. Like, what do you want to be known for? When someone thinks about you, what do you want them to think about? For me, I want to be the family guy. I want to be the guy that knows all the cool spots, but also, therefore, knows all the communities that have the best amenities for families. So anybody who has a young family just like me, they come to me, and I'm gonna hit them first with the more benefits, more like this. We talk about ski lifts, we go skiing, we go camping, we go hiking. I'm gonna show you the fun things to do because remember back to that pyramid over here, this is my 60% down here. I can reach more people by talking about the hiking and the skiing and things like that. And then also say, hey, I can also help you find a house too. So that's what my brand is. That's what I want to be known for. What do you want to be known for?
Hey, Jimmy, on your whiteboard, real quick, you had like 3 basic content pillars.
Yeah.
I think it was like community, real estate, and then, connection, my story. That's what I was. So then when we're like thinking about general content, I mean, this is really simplifies it for us. I think as realtors, we get really caught up in like, oh, I should be talking about this coffee shop. I should be showing this listing. Like there's so many different ways that we can take this. And I just want to see this again because I think it really simplifies it for us. And then, if we lock this in, it can help us to just throw everything in the same category over and over and over again.
Yep. Yeah, and my real estate content has grown over time. It started with just like these slow, simple kind of house tours I was doing with my phone. I was getting no reach whatsoever. Then I started getting a little bit more creative with it. Started to get a little bit more reach, but then I figured something out with my community tours, and everyone gets over 100,000 views and brings in too many leads. I don't even want to follow up with any of them. So it grows over time. It goes back to, fuck, man. We got to test. The more you can test, the better. Like, my content is not what it once was, thankfully. And I know my ideal client way better than I once did. But the only reason I know that is because I didn't care what people thought about me. I didn't care if people thought I was posting too much. I didn't even care how many friends I had. I didn't even care if I lost sleep. I was willing to do everything I needed to do to reach my goal, which was basically get a lot of views and reach a lot of people. I hear a lot of people out there saying, well, we're not influencers. It's not about getting views. It's not about the vanity metrics. Sure. But if I reach more people, it's all a funnel. Reach more people, then you have more people to buy from you. Because in the end, we know it's only like 1% to 3% are ever going to buy from you in the first place. So I know the more people I can reach, the better opportunity I'm going to have. We're in a crazy time right now where we do not have to go sit in front of a studio with a light and a camera and know about scripting or any of that. We can literally just make a simple video like Hunter, the Locator Pros, or like me. I've been able to find something. This is literally one video. They got 40 comments asking for the listing in the first hour. And then all I did was just reach out to everyone and basically ask how their buying journey was going. One clip. But you know what's powerful about this? The reason why this did so well is, number one, I stacked the chips in my favor by showing a pretty house. Then I called out the community that everybody knows and loves. Dry Creek Ranch in Eagle, Idaho. Everybody wants to be in Dry Creek Ranch in Eagle, Idaho. So you know what? I'm going to grab the attention that is currently being generated from Dry Creek Ranch in Eagle, Idaho, and I'm going to pull it over to my tiny little town in Star. Thanks, Truth.
Hey, real quick, Jimmy, I saw somebody ask a question. It was Rick, I think, earlier, was just asking a question about music, how you're choosing music to go with it. Do you look for like trending audio or
sometimes?
Do you think that?
Sometimes I get a little vibey and I just go with my own songs from 20 years ago when we were all jazzed on music. Other times I will find, I go through and I save trending audios just by scrolling through Reels. I do not search through whatever functionality Instagram has for searching. I will literally just scroll Reels, and if it has an up arrow and I feel like it's got a vibe, then I'll use it, or I'll save it at least.
If I can be honest, and like I have a lot of experience on social media as well, just in a different format. But like what I notice is that a lot of the questions become like, how can I hack the algorithm? It's like, what music, or it's what hashtags, or it's like, and everyone, what time of day? I'm actually surprised nobody asked that question. So what time of day do I post? Everybody always wants to ask those questions. And my opinion is none of that matters until you're consistently posting content. Like, you have to just post content and get decent at it. And then what happens? So I'll give you an example. Kelly, I was telling you about that video that I posted on TikTok the other day. It's at 1.3 million views, and it was really slowly gaining traction. And as I was analyzing it, I was like, man, I thought this video would have popped off faster. And so then I analyzed it, and then I was like, you know what I should have done? I should have done X, Y, or Z. But I know that because I've been posting content for like 18 months very consistently, and I understand what's going on. But like, I think early on, you just have to like pick a strategy and run with it. And I think what Jimmy is so good at, that's so repeatable for your local areas in here, is like, raise your hand if you can do a 4 to 7 second video on your phone and put some freaking text over it. Every hand should be up, right? Anybody can do that. Anybody can do a 4 to 7. Anybody can then do a montage that is 15 to 30 seconds that just goes clip, clip, clip of activities or things that are pretty in your city. And it's like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. but you do have to just start doing it and do it consistently. You have to time block it into your schedule, into your life, and make it a real part of your business. Otherwise, it's just going to be like, you're going to, I think, overvalue the attention, and you're gonna be like, oh, well, I tried it once and I only got, 75 views and it didn't freaking work. So, and then you're gonna fall off instead of committing to 30 days of activity and actual work. Like Nugget has said multiple times in the chat, like, it requires work and effort. Jimmy is not just freaking winging it. I think that is pretty clear.
Well, here, let me pop on real quick. So I do need to head out here in just a moment, but it did take a while to get to this. Like I fully understand. Like, people come into my program, I'm like, post twice a day for 14 days, and they're like, I haven't even posted in a year. And I'm like, I get it, but so in order for me to get comfortable with even posting every day for 30 days, I was posting leading up to that, right? It's all, if you're not comfortable with posting twice a day, then commit to posting 5 days a week. And then once you're doing 5 days a week and you get hungrier and you're tired of the results you're getting, post 30 times in 30 days. Once you realize that you can do it 30 times, 30 days, then you're gonna be like, I bet I can do this now. Like, I can do twice a day now. And then you start posting twice a day. And that's how you build up. Someone asked, well, how do you have enough content for 2 days a week or 2 times a day? Honestly, we're saying the same thing over and over. Real quick, for a busy realtor, do you recommend to hire a professional photographer, videographer to shoot the videos of pretty places around the town? Absolutely not. No, it's too simple. It's too simple. You want to see I got 1 minute. The most viewed video of my entire account is a video just like I already showed you, where it said you just landed. That's now become a staple in my arsenal. 5.6 million views on this one clip of me turning this corner, coming into Boise, and it says, POV, you just landed in Boise and driving downtown with no traffic or homeless camps. And people went nuts. Also, people are commenting for my guide so I can reach out to them as much as I want, but a lot of haters. We gotta want the haters. We need the haters. Our ideal client is in the back of the crowd, and we need our haters to carry our content and crowd surf them to our ideal client in the back.
Dude, this has been awesome. We had 48 people. That's the most I've ever seen in one of our masterclasses. And then even a half hour over, which super thank you so much for doing that. Still had 20 to 23 people here for an hour and a half of just absolutely killer content. For everybody that was here,